Hello, Meoni here, and welcome to the Cash Shop update video for the 2nd of December 2024. Today saw the addition of 2 new outfits in collaboration with Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. These items are available for real money purchase on the Cash Shop. There is no other event related to this in the actual game, so if you want to get these items, you will have to spend money. Both of these outfits are the same exact price, however, they differ in the amount of items that you get per set. We'll look at that in a second. As you can see, 18 USD is the actual price in America for those outfits. Harking back to the Japanese yen, that was 1980 yen. And obviously in Europe, we have ourselves back down to the price of €13.50. And the United Kingdom sees, in my own currency, £11.16, which is about half the price of one of the premium outfits that you would get and half the price of a decent mount. So this is still a fairly pricey edition and obviously won't be for everyone. These optional items are always the case, being optional. So let's look at both of these outfits. First of all, we've got the King of Leonis attire, designed to look like the King of Leonis character from Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, War of the Visions, and comes with 4 pieces of armor. Specifically, this is not gender locked either. You can wear this on female characters as well as male characters, and has 2 dye channels per item. And as you can see, they've done a little bit of a preview of both the legs there and the feet separately if you are interested. And this is also purchasable for a friend. Considering we're coming up to the holiday season now, you might consider purchasing this for one of your friends in the game. If they're on your friends list, you can do that, which is nice. It is included. So 4 items for the King of Leonis set. And then conversely, we have the Queen of Hourne attire, which again is not gender locked either. You can wear this on male characters or female characters, features double dyes for all of the slots, and is a completely different sort of outfit, as you can see here, complete with 3 items. So we've dropped 1 item, but we've kept the exact same price from the King attire. So the Queen of Hourne attire coming with the Blyo, which is the big chest piece, the tights, and the boots, all of those double dyeable. Let's go into the game now, look at these items, separate them, look at the individual bits, and then dye them. Alrighty, here we are in the Grand Cosmos on Explorer mode difficulty so that we can just see the items in proper light without any weather getting in the way. This then is what we're looking at then. So this is both of the outfits. You'll notice that the female outfit, the Queen of Hourne outfit, I should say, has 3 pieces. And obviously the King of Leonis has 4 items. So since they're the exact same price, you are slightly getting a better deal with the King of Leonis outfit just because it's got an extra piece. But will it make up for that? So let's look at the female one first. And I think most people will be quite happy with the way that looks. It looks very similar to some of the white mage gear that we've had in the past. And obviously, you know, a lot of that is by intention. A lot of Final Fantasy games share a lot of that mage stuff between, obviously, the different games. It doesn't look bad, though. And I actually really quite like this, especially some of the details on this. The coloration is probably not my favorite. It just seems a little bit off-white. So maybe we can fix that with dyes. One thing I really, really do love about this chest piece, though, specifically, is the flared sleeves there. Those are really cool. Very nice. Sort of almost Final Fantasy 16-esque, sort of medieval cuffs. I love that. The details on there are pretty good. I have never played Brave Exvius. It's not something I've ever played, but it does intrigue me to see what it's like. One thing you'll also notice is I actually left a necklace equipped. This is one of the few items in the game that has a robe that covers your neck that allows you to place your neck items on it. Usually necklaces are turned off visually by default when you equip a chest piece that covers a neck piece, such as the Gown of Light and Gaia's attire and other things like that, you know, all the Scion gear and some of the cash shop stuff outside of that. So it's quite surprising that we can see my necklace there. I didn't think to take it off, but that's pretty cool, actually. I quite like that. Obviously, we've got the tights, which look much better in the game than they do on the store page, which is not really terribly surprising, and then there's the boots. The tights first. Now, obviously, one thing that they don't show on the picture on the actual store page is what pants you get with them, and those are pretty cool, actually. They're quite nice. I mean, there's however you want to describe pants. They've got this interesting texture detail on them. They don't obviously share transparency that the tights have, for obvious reasons. I do like this patterning, though. I didn't see this before. Very strange. I like that. But it's kind of like some kind of lingerie, isn't it? And then we've got the thigh-high tights, which look really good. I really like those. It's not like the 2B bottoms. It doesn't extend your rear in any significant way. So if you wanted an alternative that doesn't affect that, then this is probably it. Yeah, there is like no transparency to these, is there? Like none at all. It's basically fake transparency. It's not, I mean, there's probably a bit here that probably reacts to the skin color of your character in some way. But unlike a lot of the other tights we've had, like in 7.1, they increased the transparency levels of the bunny chief tights, which look amazing. So it depends if you want these opaque, detailed, almost mottled, isn't it? Almost mottled sort of coloration with the sort of brown, burgundy, and then the darker red there, darker purple. Pretty cool, though. I'm pretty excited to have those in our collection, because sometimes it's hard to find tights that aren't just a 2B attire. And these have some nice details on them. We also have the boots, which we can definitely look at separate as well, just so we can get a good idea of what those look like. If we zoom in. So yeah, they're pretty scruffy. There's like scuffs on the side of them, but that adds to their kind of charm as well. And then you've got the ropes around the front here, sort of like laced ropes, and then a little bit of a heel going on. Looks pretty cool, actually. I could probably end up using these in a few different glamours. When it comes to boots for your character, you can never have too many. You can never have too many. It's kind of like real life, isn't it? You can never have too many boots. Or so my girlfriend tells me anyway. But I think it's safe to say, all in all, I'm quite satisfied with that attire. And it looks pretty good, actually. But if you're the sort of person that's kind of put up with robes for the last, 11 years of Final Fantasy XIV, then you're probably going to be less inclined. I do like this, like, curvature of the fabric. I'm just curious, does that actually bob around as we move? Yeah, it bobs around as you would expect, like typical fabric would from a robe. It's kind of got this like dirty, it feels like this bit's dirty at the bottom. I know it's like a faded pink, but I don't know, maybe we can fix that with dyes when we look at them. Let's look at the other attire then. Okay, so this is the King of Leonis male, and then we've got the glovies, and we've got the breasts, and we've got the boots. So the detail on this thing is pretty great. I mean, that's what it looks like as a whole costume. I really like this, actually. It reminds me of the Final Fantasy XVI outfit. I think it's probably the glove, like the gauntlets and the scale mail there. It's a really, really nice piece of glam, actually. Really happy with this. A little less happy about the tail clipping. They could have put a little slat in there, but it doesn't matter at this point. If you're playing Final Fantasy XIV in 2024 and you're complaining about clipping, then you're probably not going to be a very happy person with the gear that we've got in the game. Myself included, but, it is what it is. I'd rather have it and have something look cool. So those are the bottom of the boots there and the legs. And look at the fabric detail, actually, on this. Wow. That's a lot higher than I expected. A lot higher. Yeah, the gloves do remind me of, like, Strife gloves, but a little bit bigger, flared glove tops. The gauntlet sort of spikes on the shoulders. I really like that. We've got the big griffin on here. Well, it's a lion, isn't it? It's a lion, not a griffin. And then we've got these sort of ropes that you would normally see when you're going to a museum, cordoning off an area of importance. That's what I think, anyway. I love the texture detail on the scales, though. Look at those. That's lovely. Absolutely lovely. And then the collar piece. Again, I wish I knew anything about this game that it's coming from. I just simply don't. One thing I would like to comment on, my character has the highest, sort of longest hair that I could physically get, apart from the straight hair that cuts off horribly. And I have to say, the clipping is minimal. There is some, obviously, as you can see, but it's not enough to bother me, because the way that it clips the hair in is it goes down below this ruff. So from the back of my character, I'm always going as I'm stood still, like with outfits, and I end up turning off whatever the chest piece is that has this, or changing my hairstyle. I don't think I would have to with this unless I was to look directly down. I think that's a really nice little added bonus of that. It's kind of like quiffed up at the back. Yeah, it's a really cool outfit. I just yeah, I don't know if the original outfits ever had tiaras or helms, but it does feel like both outfits could benefit from a helm of some description. But again, Viera and Hrothgar, I guess, you know, have a completely safe situation because they can't, you know, there's no helm to even try to wear. So that's probably one of the other reasons as well. And we've started to see that a lot more with costumes added to the game, where they come with no helms specifically for that reason. Let's take off the chest piece then, so we can get a good look of what's separate, as well as the boots. So in this, we've just got the brace and the arm guards on, so we can see where they come to. So if we look, the brace are very, very, very long, and they cover this section. I thought this was a part of the boot originally. Obviously, it is not. When we first got a preview of this on the live letter, I thought that'd be part of the boot. But yeah, it's kind of generic. As we said with the gloves, they are just extended leather gloves, which does mean that the chest piece has the spiked elbows on them, which is really cool, actually. I prefer that than having the gloves with the gauntlet spike on them instead, because when you come to create something where you mix and match glamour together, you might want that element, and it looks a lot better if you can combine that with the cool spiky things with gloves of your own choice. So we'll have to do a bit of a test, see what gloves go with this, what overlap, what disappear, how it affects this. I can imagine some short gloves would look beautiful on this without having that flared center, and it will change the look and design of the set. But yeah, overall quite happy with this. I've got no major complaints, realistically. Yeah, let's have a look at some dyes then. So for the dyes then, the outfit, the female one first, the Queen of Hourne. As you can see, there's a lot of extra detail that gets changed in color. Obviously that sash on the back there. We've decided to go through, obviously, what we usually do for our dye previews, where we go one direction with one dye palette and the other with the opposite direction, starting, of course, with our undyed and then our Snow White ending on metallic purple, and then the literal opposite, starting at metallic purple, ending in Snow White. Just to give you a basic demonstration of what these dye palette options look like. Honestly, it looks fairly good. I'm happy that the sort of dirty, sort of faded pink that kind of looked a bit brown on the default stock outfit of this chest piece has kind of gone. It basically gets removed when you start dyeing things, which is good. So if you wanted to just dye it pure white as a main dye, your first dye palette option, you could get completely rid of that faded color as well. Looks pretty good in a variety of colors, but yeah, honestly, your mileage is going to vary depending on your taste. I personally quite like pastel colors for this one. And then when it comes to the male outfit, this is pretty much the same idea, although I was a little bit more disappointed because the emblem on the chest piece, like on the breastplate area there of the what I called griffin mistakenly earlier, the big lion, it just stays this sort of like rose tinted brass. It's kind of like this metal. I kind of wish that was just silver. It would have made it a lot easier to match to, or even brass or bronze. There is a little bit of bronze that is undyeable, as you can see at the top there on the shoulder, and of course that giant ruff, that fabric isn't changing color either. The second dye palette is a bit strange on the gloves, like you have half and half rather than details on there. So the front section of the gloves before the flared section is one color, and then the flared section is another, which is a strange decision in my opinion. I think this is probably one of my least favorite outfits that they might have added to the cash shop because of the dye options alone. It's not completely bad, but as a complete item, I don't think I would probably want to purchase this if it wasn't for the video. There's not really any elements that I would want to use separately. And of course, because these are all obviously cash shop items, we can place these in our armoire without any fear of taking up any space. So obviously we can just put all those in, which is one of the nicest features that they added this expansion, quite honestly, because otherwise it would just take up far too much room to have these items. When it comes to putting stuff together with this, then you'll be pleased to know that whilst the necklaces obviously do appear on the top layer above that of the actual chest piece, there are some other cool things as well. For example, with these flared gloves that aren't actually gloves, that means that we have access to either the overwrite of them completely with something that overlaps, or of course we have something that can go just underneath, such as the Salon Server's gloves there, or any of the short gloves. Some interesting thing happens with some other gloves though. There's some horrible clipping disasters that happen with stuff that goes to the elbow height, such as the Favnarian armlets. Those look awful clipping through there unless you want that design. And stuff like the armlets from the PvP as well, they're all going to have the same problem. But I think if you're putting something meaningful together, you're probably looking to change the actual fabric. And obviously stuff like the Ravel Keepers will remove that sleeve entirely, completely changing it to a short sleeve version, obviously with those tattoos. And this is just an example of others that actually do the same thing, where it cuts it short. So yeah, there's a lot of versatility. The starting gear also clips because it's flared upwards. So your mileage is going to vary, but at least we have access to choosing our own gloves, rather than there being gloves embedded into this flared format. But yeah, I think the tights are probably my favorite bit of the Queen of Hourne attire. I do like the chest piece though, it is really quite nice. But yeah, I'll probably end up mixing and matching things around this. And yeah, I just like the fact that we have more tights in the game. There's a lot of situations where you have tights that cut off at this point, but none that go as high. We've had sort of knee highs and things like that. But yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you think about these. I think they're pretty great, honestly. And I look forward to mixing and matching and making some glams. But yeah, overall, not a bad outfit. I can't say that I prefer the male one at all. I think that the male version, the King of Leonis, not my favorite. The chest piece probably, but the dye options make it a little bit meh. And mixing and matching with this is going to be harder than the female version. But saying that, there is some interesting bits from it, like the arm guards. But we've got stuff like that before. And I think probably the Queen of Hourne boots. If it was me, I would still go for the Queen of Hourne set, even as a male character, I'm fairly sure. But yeah. But if it was me, I would say that whilst you have an extra slot of gear from the King of Leonis set, I do actually think that you get lower quality items in comparison to the Queen of Hourne attire, but that's just my personal opinion. Anyway, let me know what you think about these outfits, and if you plan to pick them up, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.